A man only begins to chase when he feels there is something truly meaningful to lose, something rare enough that he knows he can't simply replace it the moment things become inconvenient. He may notice your beauty, he may enjoy your presence, but none of that creates the pursuit on its own, because attraction alone is everywhere, and men don't chase what feels abundant. What they chase is the woman who shows, through her actions and energy, that she values herself and her time in a way that quietly demands his best. When you hold yourself with the confidence of someone who knows her worth, he becomes aware that your attention is not guaranteed. When you don't rush, overgive, or collapse your life for his convenience, he starts to sense that the opportunity to be with you is something he must earn. The moment he realizes you are willing to walk away from anything that doesn't honor you, he begins to step toward you with intention. The truth is, men chase the woman who lives in a state of emotional richness, who knows how to bring peace without abandoning her own needs. That contrast between softness and self-respect is what makes a man feel that losing you would mean losing a connection that elevates him. And the chase begins when he sees that you are choosing him, not depending on him, because that subtle difference creates both desire and respect. Men are drawn to women who show appreciation but not attachment, affection but not desperation, presence but not pressure. When you carry yourself with a sense of purpose, when you invest in your passions, your growth, and your joy, he feels that your world is bigger than just him, and that makes him want a place in it. Even more, he feels compelled to step up because you are a woman whose life is already full, and joining you feels like an upgrade, not a rescue. When he senses that your standard for relationships comes from genuine self-love rather than fear of being alone, he understands that he cannot offer anything half-hearted. He chases because you don't stay where there is inconsistency, mixed signals, or emotional laziness. He chases because your energy communicates that being with you requires presence, effort, and emotional maturity. And when he realizes that the connection you offer is grounded, rare, and capable of bringing out the best in him, the pursuit becomes natural, not forced, not strategized, but instinctive. And a man begins to chase when he experiences emotional safety, but that safety doesn't come from giving him all of your time, all of your availability, or all of your emotional energy at once. It comes from creating a space where he feels comfortable being open, honest, and vulnerable without feeling judged, rushed, or controlled. When you listen without immediately trying to fix everything, he begins to feel understood in a way that makes him drawn to you naturally. But emotional safety is not the same as emotional overinvestment, and this is where many women unintentionally sabotage the chase. If you start giving too much too soon, he no longer feels the balance that makes the connection exciting. He feels pressure instead of curiosity, predictability instead of discovery, and comfort without effort. When you maintain your own emotional world, your friends, your goals, your time, he senses that you are someone who can offer warmth without sacrificing your identity. That combination makes him feel secure enough to open up, yet inspired enough to pursue you with intention. And the safety that makes a man chase is the kind that invites him closer but doesn't swallow him whole, the kind that makes him feel wanted but not owned, appreciated but not relied on for your entire sense of happiness. Men retreat when they sense that they are becoming your only source of meaning, because that level of emotional dependence feels heavy rather than loving. But when you show him that you can be deeply connected while still maintaining your independence, he associates the relationship with peace instead of pressure. He sees that you can give emotional support without losing yourself in the process, and that signals emotional maturity he cannot easily walk away from. You make him feel like he can be himself without fear, like he can share his struggles without being judged, and like he can take his time opening up without being punished for not moving faster. This environment doesn't make him passive. It actually makes him lean into the relationship more. He begins to chase because he feels safe enough to invest, curious enough to continue, and confident enough to believe that pursuing you will enhance his life rather than complicate it. And a man begins to chase when your standards are communicated with calm clarity, not with ultimatums, emotional games, or explosive reactions. Many women fear that speaking their needs will push a man away, but in reality, clarity is the very thing that inspires pursuit. When you express what you want in a grounded, confident tone, he understands that being with you requires a certain level of emotional presence and effort. This doesn't scare away the right man. It filters out the wrong one. Men don't chase a woman who tolerates confusion, inconsistency, or half interest. They chase a woman who makes them feel like stepping up is the only way to keep her. When you don't beg for better behavior and instead simply expect it, your energy becomes magnetic. He sees that you are not trying to control him, but instead showing him the version of himself he could rise into if he wants to be with you. This creates attraction rooted not in pressure, but in possibility, and that possibility becomes the spark that makes him want to move toward you rather than away from you. And communicating standards without threats shows emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is rare enough to command respect instantly. When you calmly say, "This is what I need to feel valued," rather than "If you don't do this, I'm gone," you create space for him to choose you willingly. That distinction matters because men don't want to feel controlled. They want to feel inspired. When you're clear about your boundaries without being combative, he sees that you're not trying to punish him for who he is, but guiding him toward how you expect to be treated. This allows him to take accountability without feeling attacked, and accountability is the foundation of pursuit. Men chase the woman who makes them want to give more, not the woman who demands more from a place of insecurity. They chase the woman whose standards make them better, not bitter, and when your clarity comes from a place of self-worth rather than fear, it becomes irresistible. He recognizes that he can either rise to meet those standards or lose someone who brings peace, structure, and emotional depth into his life. That realization is what activates the pursuit. And a man becomes truly motivated to chase when he sees that your life is already thriving without him, when he realizes that your happiness, fulfillment, and sense of purpose don't rely on his presence. There is something magnetically attractive about a woman who wakes up with direction, who pursues her passions, who invests in her growth, and who doesn't pause her entire world the moment a man shows interest. When he witnesses that you have dreams you're committed to, routines that nourish you, and a life that brings you joy on its own, he feels drawn toward your energy rather than responsible for maintaining it. That independence doesn't push him away. It pulls him closer because he senses that being with you would complement his life instead of consuming it. Men instinctively chase what feels valuable, and a woman with purpose is valuable because she inspires, challenges, and elevates the people around her. He sees you glowing from within, and that glow becomes the signal that you are someone worth pursuing. The more you shine from your own inner light, the more he realizes that you are not waiting for a man to complete you, but allowing one to join your journey if he proves worthy. And thriving without him creates an emotional dynamic that makes him want to invest more deeply, because the relationship becomes a choice, not a dependency, and men are far more drawn to what they feel chosen by rather than needed for. Your independence shows that you have a life that he would be lucky to be part of, a life that is rich with experiences, friendships, goals, and personal victories that have nothing to do with him. This creates a sense of curiosity, making him wonder what it would feel like to be included in that world. It also builds admiration because he sees the strength, discipline, and self-respect behind the way you live. He begins to chase not out of fear, but out of genuine desire, because the more he sees you thriving on your own, the more he believes that being with you would elevate his own life too. Men commit more deeply to the woman who expands their world, not the one who collapses hers for them. When he notices that you can be loving without losing yourself, giving without overextending, and present without abandoning your own path, he understands that a relationship with you is a partnership, not a sacrifice, and that realization makes the pursuit feel not just exciting, but necessary, because he knows that a woman who thrives alone is a woman he must work to keep.